Dum 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 dum. Welcome to the fifth episode of our podcast. Thank you. We didn't think this is how long it would last. It's a miracle that we're still on the air. But hell, we're doing this shit for free, so I guess no one really cares.
Did you
Yo!
explain that?
Yeah, no, I just freestyled it just now. Thank you. Welcome, one and all, to the Arrogance Podcast. This is episode number 5. I am one of your co-hosts, the man, the myth, the legend, Coffee Man. And to my right or my left or whatever geographical direction he is in for me, because we are coming to you live via the internet, the one, the only, the indestructible, the indomitable, the great and mighty DJ!
Actually thought this out. Direction wise, geographically from you, I'd be coming north.
I know that.
Really far north.
Yeah. Anyway, so how's it hanging on the wall then?
Really?
You said you were that far north. I'm just trying to make sure we understand each other. Let's start there. Anyway, before we get into it, thank you if you're watching right now live. Thank you if you're watching afterwards. We appreciate it. I'm trying to figure out what to say here. I didn't plan it out, but hey, we're just winging it. So this week we're going to do a little something different, kind of, sort of. We're going to go back to the original format we had, which wasn't actually a news-geared sort of podcast. Is more so supposed to be just two morons on the internet rambling to each other and people actually watching and actually caring. I guess I don't know. We kind of tried to find structure, and the structure kind of took away the form that we were looking for. So we're going to try something new. So we're still in an experimental phase. We're not sure exactly how this will end up in the end or the beginning.
No, so you know how exactly it's going to end up. It's going to end up with some one of us getting a knock on the door. So you have to go away for a little bit. Probably me. That'll be the show.
Speaking of knocks on doors, funny story. I once worked with this guy who who looked at me and was like, "Are you hacking the system?" I'm like, "No." Are you a hacker? He was like, "No comment." What is that? Like, commit to it. Like, you're a hacker. You're a hacker. Be a hacker, dude. Hack away. I don't care. I'm not going to sit here and punish you for it. What do I look like? I'm not a clown snitch, baby. Whatever. Anyway, I've never hacked anything in my life. Whatever. I really haven't. I just learned to code. I'm going to show you this assignment I did, actually. I had to learn how to code. It was pretty cool. I'll show you what I turned in for my assignment. How about you? What's going on with you, DJ? Big DJ?
Damn dog. I'm going to kill it.
Don't kill the dog, DJ. Dog didn't do nothing.
And then we're going to try it out as food to see if it needs to be on the other side of that line on that picture.
What?
Remember, what's pet and what is a food? Once I get done taking it down.
Oh, you stupid.
And see whether what side of the line it needs to be on.
Oh, my goodness. So for those who don't know, I'll show you what the great DJ is referring to right now. This came about on Facebook. So, there was this. All animals want to live. Where do you draw the line? And on this side it says pet. Arrow slowly turns red over to food. Now my nitpick with the whole freaking image is you got domesticated animals on the left, such as cat, dog, rabbit, and then a horse. I think people have eaten horse before, so I'm not even sure where to go with that. And then you got on this side chicken, cow, pig, bull, chick.
Duck.
Is that a duck?
It looks like a duck.
I thought it was a chick, but you might be right. Duck's good too. My argument was, hell, I guess ain't nobody here else tried no damn fried gator. So if you have ever been to Razoo's, or if you've never heard of Razoo's, look up Razoo's. That's RAZOOS or Z. One of the two. I don't know. Check it out. It's a Cajun themed restaurant. They have they have something called rat toes, and I can't remember what they are. They're not actual rat toes though, so don't worry about that. I think they're like jalapeno poppers maybe, but they call them rat toes for some reason. Don't ask me why. But they also served fried alligator. I've had fried gator before that, but their fried gator is pretty bomb. And if you haven't had it, I know this sounds like a cliche thing to hear, and I hate when people say this to me, but it tastes just like chicken. It really does. It's a bit chewier, but it tastes just like chicken. It is the bomb.
It's from an honest place deep down in your heart. It tastes just like chicken.
It tastes, bro, 100%. That's not like falsified, made up, exaggerated in any way. It tastes like chicken. Fried gator. Try it. I implore you. Try it once. It'll probably
I tried it once. It still seemed like you push it when you say it tastes like chicken. Chicken's pretty damn delicious.
I'm telling you, bro, fried gator. If fried gator tastes just like chicken. I don't know if you cook it in any other way, if it would taste differently, but it tastes like fried chicken. Like I said, a bit chewier. The consistency of it isn't the same, but the flavor is like right on point with it. That's the only reptile I've ever eaten. I've heard of people eating snakes and lizards and iguanas. I can't do all that. That's a bit much. I bet it does taste just like chicken as well. They're the same animal family or kingdom or phylum, whatever it is. I'm not sure which one because I'm not really into what subject would that be? It's not biology. Anthropology?
I don't know.
Okay.
This dog is killing this podcast. I'll tell you that now.
He is, I know. I'm gonna need you to get that under control, sir. Oh, it's not mine. So anyway, from there we have good old Flipboard, which we'll pull from for a couple topics. I didn't really work on the Flipboard this week because of the plan that we had implemented. Plus, I started some new classes this week, so I didn't really find the time. Also, Overwatch came out, so that took up the time I had to actually do this.
Yeah, that's the real excuse right there. Right there. You could have stopped right there.
Hey. Listen, the real excuse comes last. Always. You got to make them think first. All right?
Oh, we had a couple of classes to go to, and then, my job, and then work, and then Overwatch. But then I go ahead and help out the homeless shelter. Wait a minute. What'd you say for homeless shelter? Yeah?
Hey, Overwatch is the bomb. Let me tell you. Okay, I'm struggling to find in my heart where this game will land because I have a feeling it's going to get mediocre reviews. And the reason being, not that the game is not fun to play. Anybody who has played the game can probably tell you it's a pretty fun game. I mean, it's got a lot for a lot of different people. It's got stuff for FPS fans, MOBA fans, Blizzard fans, whatever it is. If you're a fan of it, you're probably a fan of this game. It's got a lot of that. Art fans, it's a beautiful art style. The biggest drawback to this game, or a couple big drawbacks to this game, and not for me personally, just from a technical perspective of what people seem to care about or get vocal on the internet about, is one, the game has no campaign. There's no single player campaign at all. It's all multiplayer. That being said, there is a small training thing. It's like not even a training session. It's like there's a small training session they put you in like when you first start, to if you've not played it, so you can get a feeling and understanding of kind of how the game works, get your mind in that proper mindset. The problem I have with that when they did that, though, was the character that they walk you through the game with is basically a typical FPS character. His name's Agent 67 or Soldier 67, I should say. And he's like your typical FPS guy. He's got sprint. He's got rockets. He's got, this really stupid ultimate move that he has where he like basically if he's looking in the direction of someone, he can lock onto them, and for like 10 seconds, anybody who's in his field of view, he locks onto, he fires, and it's just gonna hit you. And like after a couple rounds, it's gonna basically kill you if you're like in the path of this thing. So it's basically like auto aim, essentially, to the highest degree, and it's like the dumbest thing I've ever heard of in my life. But whatever. So like I said, the game has no campaign. It's all multiplayer, which is something that was a big detriment to a game like Titanfall when Titanfall first came out, right? I mean, even you yourself was like, when I asked you about Titanfall 2 coming to PS4, would you play it now? And you're like, does it have a campaign? It's like, well, I don't know. Whispers are that it probably will. That studio's grown a lot over the past couple of years, so chances are it probably is. However, this game doesn't. I don't think it's going to hurt this game as much. I think just because of more games coming out similar to that, people have kind of gotten past that, which is crazy that it had to get to a precedent where we no longer saw that being a necessary thing before people were like really just willing to accept a game like that with open arms. But so that's number one. And then number two, the game has like only 2 modes to it, technically 3, I think, that you play. And each mode, mode is kind of geared. The maps are geared towards certain modes. So it's like you'll play certain maps that'll only have like the escort game type where you're escorting the payload from your base or from one end of the base or one end of the map to the other, from one team base to the other team base, essentially. And then there's just your typical like king of the hill kind of mode. And then there's a mode called hybrid, which it starts out where you have to capture the payload and then move it, and essentially kind of the same thing. So it incorporates both, sort of. But that's it. That's all there is. There's like no team deathmatch to this game, so it's not traditional FPS in that sense. There's no essentially payloads the escorts kind of like capture the flag, in a way, in a weird way. But yeah, there's just not a lot of variety there for first-person shooter fans who really get into a lot of the different game modes that come out. So, me personally, I love the game. It's fun to play. Getting the barrier to entry is getting to know the characters because they all play so differently. There's 21, I believe, of them, and they all play so differently. So the struggle to getting to a point where you're understanding how to play the game in a particular fashion is getting to understand a character that's geared towards that and getting to use that character's abilities to your advantage and having a full understanding of how all that works out. If I were to rate the game, me personally, I'd give it a 4 out of 5, maybe a 4.5 out of 5, but I don't want to really just sit here and try to throw numbers on it because we had that whole debate, 2 weeks ago or last week?
Last week.
Yeah, so I don't really want to get into all of that. That's not really a necessary thing to talk about. Like I said, but that's where I feel its score should be. I think it might get some 7 out of 10, some 6 out of 10, like I said, based off of the things I heard. That being said, scores don't make a game. you finding that game entertaining makes that game. If that game is for you, that game is for you. If you don't know if that game is for you, check it out on Twitch. I've streamed some content, so that's twitch.tv / perfect_shogun. I think should be. If it's not perfect_shogun, it's perfect shogun, whatever the case may be. You can see me and my buddies playing it last night, and that was there's a big discussion in there, and I'm gonna export it out to my personal YouTube channel or my gaming YouTube channel about whether or not the game is a MOBA or not, because I have a buddy who refuses to not call it a MOBA because it has heroes and you don't have to pick up ammo and blah blah blah, other stupid things that he said.
I'm kind of agreeing with your friend.
It's, oh my God, whatever. I'm not finna sit here and argue with you about it either. It has MOBA like heroes. Other than that, nothing else about it is a traditional MOBA. Nothing else about it has MOBA hooks. There's no like in-game progression or upgrading or store or items you can like buy to use. Everything you have is what you start with. Like similar to how you would have loadouts in a traditional FPS. So that's really not something that can be, cross, or that's really a distinction there. And then the no ammo thing is really dumb. That one, he's just like throwing just like farts at the air and hoping to catch wind. I don't know. But anyway, we're not going to talk about whether it's not. I'm done arguing about it because it's a stupid argument. It doesn't matter. It's a game. It is a game. It is a game that is in first person view where you shoot people with heroes and you capture objectives. That's it. So that is what I will call it. I will find I will make a abbreviation out of that, and that'll be what it is. Not an abbreviation, anagram.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll make an anagram out of that. Whatever I just said, I'll play it back and I'll make the anagram, and then that's what we'll call it from now on. It'll probably be a very, very unaudible thing to say, but hey, it'll be our thing. It'll be what we call it. So anyway, moving on from Overwatch, DJ.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the other watch. The watchers on the wall, the keepers. Let's talk about the great,
sweet and total bullshit that Brand can do. Yeah, let's talk about that. The man effectively can basically time travel and affect the past. Like that's how they're going to have great repercussions in the end. Hey,
wait. Okay, so let's catch anybody up to speed who might not be understand what we're talking about. If you've been following us, we're talking about Game of Thrones. If you know, or if you watch Game of Thrones yourself, then you would probably understand that. But it's funny. Let's go back to, oh God, what was it? Episode 1 or whatever it was, where we were talking, 1 or 2, when we were talking about the quantum break theory on time and how time is an endless loop, and when you go back in time, you don't actually
change it. You just put into effect what has already happened.
Exactly. And that's kind of what happened on this episode. Essentially, they took that same theory, and that's how Hodor came to be known as Hodor instead of Willis. This young man.
Just in case anybody wants to know, it's called the bootstrap paradox.
Ah, okay. Well, there's a name for this. Okay. Cool. Okay. So on the previous week's episode of Game of Thrones, we see Bran go back in time. He's watching his father get into this legendary fight that everybody knows about. However, at the end, he comes to realize that his father didn't necessarily defeat this guy who he's famed to have beaten in combat, who was the greatest fighter in the land at the time. Even the guy got bested because someone he neglected to actually kill stabbed him in the back, literally, because he wasn't his friend anyway. So it wasn't, a betrayal in that sense. But anyway, he goes into the past, and after this whole situation happens, his father Ned goes to try to see what's going on in his castle, and Bran trying to figure out what's going on, and the three-eyed raven kind of holding him back. He's getting mad, and he yells out his father's name. His father stops and turns around and looks. He had been touched, or he had heard something. He had felt like he had heard his name. Maybe like in an instance of like, have you ever been like, like when you're doing something and you feel like you hear your name being called?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so kind of like that. He stopped, and he looks around, he's like, huh? And so it's like, he's like, he heard me. And the three-eyed raven told him, you can't change the past. That already happened. You didn't do anything. But he did, but he didn't change the past. His presence was felt. And so that goes to a fulfillment of timeline, a spiritual sense sort of thing. So fast forward to this week's episode where Bran, being the nosy person that he is, his interest being piqued and him wanting to get more and more of this information that he's been fed by the three-eyed raven. He goes and he tries to do it on his own and causes problems because he ends up in a was he next to the tree actually?
Yeah,
they were at the tree. So I guess I didn't touch on that. So he ends up at the tree where the original White Walker was created. Who they were created by, the kids of the forest, or the forest children, or whatever they call them. And so anyway, they're there, I guess, somewhat worshiping this tree. Maybe they do. I saw a video where they were talking about how they kind of when they do these killings, they lay the bodies out in that spiral pattern. Actually, I don't think it was an interview. I think it was actually a part of them telling the backstory on the actual episode too, the behind the scenes on the episode. So anyway, he goes there. He sees the White Walkers. He walks through them, and then eventually he sees the four horsemen there, and he looks, and then what is his name?
Whose name?
Oh my God, the guy with the crown, the bald crown-headed dude, the dude with the spikes in his head. He's got a name. They named him something. Anyway,
Are you talking about the king?
Yeah.
Okay.
Was he the Ice King?
I don't know. This ain't Adventure Time, so I don't know if it's that exactly.
Adventure Time?
Yes, Ice King.
Oh. Anyway, the same White Walker who raised everybody from the dead, he's there. He sees Bran. Bran's there in spirit, but he sees Bran. And not only that, Bran gets spooked out. He turns around. He loses focus off of this guy. Next thing he knows, he's standing next to him. He grabs him. He touched him. But he shouldn't be able to touch him because he's literally kind of astral projecting. But instead of being in the past, I guess he was in the present at this point. And because the White Walker touched him, he left his mark on Bran, allowing them to penetrate the Fortress of Solitude that they had beneath this other tree, wherever that tree was. And anyway, they get in there, hell breaks loose. People die. They had some spear that killed one of them, but they still got through. And the three-eyed raven dies, and Bran's stuck in the past at this point because now he's after he came to, and the three-eyed raven told him, it's time for you to become me, you know, because you fucked up, and now they're on their way. Now you have to take my place because that's what happens. Anyway, they get there. He dies. Some other people die. They're trying to escape, but before that happened, as that was happening, the Three-Eyed Raven had Bran back in time where his father and his uncle and his aunt and Willis or Hodor was, and Bran's kind of his mind is floating in between dimensions at this point. He's hearing people on the outside while he's still stuck in this vision of the past, and hears who's the girl that's with him? I forgot her name. He hears her screaming, and Hodor's with them, and so before they make their way through this hallway, like Hodor kind of just snaps, right? He was like, he said something, and he like his eyes went like white, like he was being controlled, and then the next thing they were like regular again. What happened there?
I thought they had a brand, I guess you called it warg into Hodor.
Yeah, but I thought when he does that, his eyes don't stay white.
Now that I'm not sure. I thought they should have stayed white, but I think the damage was done by that point.
Yeah, I thought they would have stayed white, and it also kind of doesn't make sense because he would then be, well, if he's there, he's seeing them through his eyes. So, I mean, but that would entail that he was actually seeing through Hodor's eyes and in the vision at the same time, which would be kind of weird. So I don't know. It seemed like something just snapped in Hodor, and he just like came to. I thought he had been fixed at this point, is what I was thinking. Like whatever was broken in him had been fixed for some reason from that thing. He also didn't talk from this point on as Hodor. He was silent all the way through. And then they're getting chased through this tunnel, and I guess the last of the Forest Children, the one who is responsible for creating the White Walkers, she's with them, and she sacrifices herself in what I felt was a ridiculous show of sacrifice, because she triggers this bomb and just kind of sits there, and it's like, you could have triggered the bomb and threw it. There was nothing, about what you just did that was absolutely necessary. Sure, you had a couple of these guys on you, but I mean, it was just basically all the ones that were in the front of the line anyway. Throwing it would have had the same impact, in my opinion, because it didn't stop them, because they were still coming, because there was more of them. But I don't know. Self-sacrifice works, I guess. So anyway, they get to the end of this tunnel. Hodor knocks through this door and barricades it from the other side as much as he can. And as he's holding the door, Bran is being carried away by his companion, who I will find her name. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm spacing on this right now. And she's screaming, "Hold the door. Hold the door. Hold the door." And then you see Bran back in his vision, and he's staring at Willis, and it seems he was staring at him as well. And his eyes roll back white in the back of his head, and he falls to the ground. And I don't remember if his eyes were still white when that happened either, though. But he falls to the floor, and he starts having this seizure, and he's just screaming, "Hold the door. Hold the door." Nobody knows what's going on. It's just, this boy just fell out of nowhere screaming, "Hold the door," until the point where he's just like, he's just had enough, and his mind's so frazzled that all he can even pronounce is "Hold door." Like he he's trying to get it out, but it's
now I'm reading and it explains it a bit better. It's because he saw his own future death from Bran. Trying to think how they want to pronounce this word. Warging?
warging.
When he did it, Bran warged into Willis, he linked the present day Hodor and the young Willis from the past together. Mental trauma caused him to seize because he saw his own future death.
Okay.
So it wasn't that it was just somebody saying hold the door and stuff. The one from the past, can literally see what's going on now. Let's see if they would have made that a tad bit more clear.
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm glad you found that because like I said, I saw him staring at Bran, but I was just like, okay, what's really going? Like that's why I said it was kind of weird how he was controlling Hodor in the future and seeing Bran in his mind in the past. So I mean, not Bran, Willis in his mind in the past, while he was, warging, and so that kind of makes it make more sense. But nonetheless, it was a very, very emotional scene to see him go out that way, and it was painful. It was. People were crying. I teared up, but at the same time as I was tearing up, I was like, that was crazy. I thought of the beauty of the sentiment of the fact that this thing happened to him as a child that was eventually caused by his fate in his future. Does that make sense?
Yep, that's the bootstrap paradox, sir. Nothing's done without reason. Just like with the other, I guess you could call other Red Witch, Lady of the Flame, when she's talking about the dude having a botched thing from Wizard in his past, he wouldn't be where he was at now to serve the Queen. Everything happens for a reason, but not exactly bootstrap paradox because it deals with time travel, but the same exact concept.
Right.
Ended up here because of something exactly happening the way it should have.
So what do you think about her? Because I know in our private conversations, you said you feel like, I think it was you. You said you don't think Daenerys is getting the throne, right?
If she does, I think it's with Jon Snow, not with somebody from like Meereen or anything. Like I definitely think Snow is getting that throne.
Okay.
Out of all people they've shown so far, to me, he's the one most worthy of it.
I don't know.
Wrong, Khaleesi she does a good thing. She does great things. I just think that leading a group of people, Jon would do it better. He has the compassion for being out there, compassion for his other soldiers. He knows what it's like to go fight something where she hasn't necessarily fought. She's been in wars, but other people have kind of fought it for her, and she's had her dragons where he's been out there on the field, which is also why I respect Tyrion a little bit more, because you think just because he's a dwarf, he hasn't been out there. He may have got knocked out before, but he's actually been out there. He defeated Stannis the first time they fought.
Yeah. Yeah. So what do you think? Because I'm a little skeptical about these red witches. You have one sitting there telling
I'm hella skeptical of the red witches. Hella skeptical. Even in the game, at the Game of Thrones games, I'm not talking about the Telltales one, but the actual Game of Thrones game, when you see the red, one of the characters is not, yes, if you use the term witch, referring to women, he's not a witch, but he is a part of that religion, one of the characters you play with. And all their shit is creepy. The rituals from when people die, how they contact each other. I don't trust none of them. And she still has the same necklace, like, I'm trying to think of exactly her name, Mazrel. I know it starts with an M. So I don't want to just keep saying John's Red Witch, like he owns this particular one.
God, and her name's like not hitting me right now either.
But the
The
one
only
that's
thing,
John currently,
Melisandre.
Melisandre.
There it is. Yeah. So
Even like I don't trust any of them, even though she's been particularly kind of right about her visions, except for this big one about Stannis. She just could have been wrong about the person. Technically, her vision still could be correct.
So I actually remember. I know who it was who said they don't believe she won't get the throne. It wasn't you. It was somebody else. Somebody else we work with. I'll tell you later. But so I'm skeptical about it because, like you said, Melisandre incorrectly predicted the upcoming of Stannis Baratheon, who is, as far as we know, dead. Bran bragged about him being, I mean, not Bran, Brienne bragged about him being dead. She said she killed him.
But if I don't see him dead, he's 100% alive in my book.
That's the kicker here. We've never seen anybody. There's never been a case where we thought someone was dead, but they actually came back. I don't know the books that well, so I don't know if that's happened. I guess that wouldn't necessarily happen in the book. That doesn't make sense.
It's happened, sir. It's happened a lot.
Where?
Well, not necessarily not dead, but you think somebody is dead or they are dead and come back. Like Caitlyn Stark, she's the Iron Queen, Iron Witch now, Iron Queen or Iron Witch, because she comes back from the dead and is boss.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, where did you weren't expecting that at all? Like,
well, her coming back from the dead and her being said to be dead is what the difference in what I'm saying here. Like, anytime we saw her die, we saw Ned die, we saw Rob die, we saw the little girl die, Cersei's little girl. We saw her die. We saw Joffrey die. We saw who else get killed? We've seen plenty of people killed, not just die, being killed. We've seen them be killed. Him and the Hound are the only two people we have not actually seen murdered. We've seen them in a position of near death, but we never saw their actual death happen. So that stands the question of, that's what leads us to the skepticism of whether it is or not. But again, Brienne's bragging about killing them. She probably did. Brienne seems like a very honorable woman who's got a very handsome wildling who's got a crush on her, and she's kind of not into that, but whatever, you know.
I think she's embarrassed. I don't think she's not into it.
Big girls need love too, and by big I mean tall, and by tall and by big I also mean big. Whatever. All women need love. Give the women love. Love the women.
Stop digging your hole, Clifton.
Huh?
Stop digging that hole.
Hey, we gonna get to that hole. We gotta. That reminds me of the other hole we gotta dig. But anyway, so I don't know. I'm not. You got one red witch over here saying that Jon is the chosen one. You got this other red witch claiming Daenerys to be the chosen one. So,
you know what? I'm not trying to be mean, but Melisandre seems like when she does have these visions that she is trying to be truthful about it at least. The other one know that. She looked like she can lie. That she can lie real good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't trust her as far as I can throw her. I could probably chunk her pretty far though. She looked pretty lightweight. So yeah, it's hard to say. I don't trust either of them. But if both of them are telling the truth, that would actually back up your theory there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an interesting prospect to think about. So we'll see what happens with that. What else happened? A very almost unnecessary showing with with our girl Arya.
What do you mean unnecessary?
I mean, what happened though? I mean, like
You saw her go to a play where she saw her father and her, I guess, particular king get made fun of with the deaths and all that stuff. How she kept her composure. How she was truly learning to be no one, where she's just there, sent to kill a person, leave.
No, I'll take that back. You're right. It wasn't unnecessary. But her, what's interesting though is where is this leading her? I mean, because Odu questioned her about whether or not someone has to be
Bad to die necessarily. He's like, does not death fall upon the good? Yeah, he made a valid point.
He does.
Think about it. He was just like, this is life.
Yeah, but I mean, why would we kill the good? It kind of brings into the questioning of the motives of the many-faced God in that situation. It's like she joined this thing thinking, well, I mean, to be honest, I can't really say that either. I was gonna say she joined this place thinking, that they were just or whatever, but
she joined the place to learn the skills that he had, so she can use those particular set of skills to go kill the rest of the people on her list.
Right.
He was trying to become Liam Neeson from Taken.
Oh man, yeah. So I kind of thought it was questionable morals at first. Then I realized that this guy also killed people on behalf of her own need for revenge. So I don't know. So why does the many-faced God choose who to kill? We don't know. That's what I want to find out. That's what we need to find out. How are these people chosen? And I guess it'll probably dig more into that.
Didn't you say they got paid for it?
Oh, yeah. Truth. That's right. Never mind.
No choosing. You just need yourself 50 gold coins and to know where the basket to put it in at with a note that says this particular guy.
So this is Assassin's Creed now. Okay. Welcome to the Animus. I'm trying to think what else was necessary. I mean, what's his name? God, I keep forgetting. It's freaking Theon Greyjoy and his sister.
That brother.
And their father's brother, yeah, who came in and decided. I mean, first of all, when you're at an election to appoint the next king, and you have the balls to say, "Yeah, I killed him. I did it because he wasn't the leader, and we need a better one. And I'm that leader." When you have the balls to say that, you might be right. So I can kind of understand why after he says this, everybody was behind him. But at the same time, it's like, but he killed the king. It's like, there's no law here now?
Who was a king who was semi-mad.
Yeah, but whatever. It's not the point. Point is, he killed the king.
That's the exact point. You know how many kings have been killed because they do shit that's stupid?
Yeah, true. But yeah, it's crazy. So he came in, he usurped the position of king from who could have been the future queen, which is Theon's sister, who is a much better leader than Theon, in truth. And now they're on the run from their uncle, who wants to kill them. That was his first objective after he was anointed king or drowned king or died to become king. I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah, their rituals is out this world, man. If you got to do all that to become a king, I'm surprised they haven't gone through 6 or 7 kings potential kings in the process just to get the one living one.
Listen, I was waiting for him to just be there dead, bro. I was like, I was like waiting for that comic relief of him just like not getting up at all and then just being like walking away and being like, well, I guess he can't be. But I was always interested in from like their mantra of or their motto of what is dead may never die. I'm like, what does that mean? That means y'all dead on the inside? Y'all cold, heartless beings? What are y'all saying? Now we know that you have to actually be drowned into near death or to death, I don't know, to become king of these people. And it's like... okay.
Continue. Sorry, that was.
So you actually have to die to become king, and that's crazy. That is crazy. So that happened. Yeah. So I don't know. It was a weird scene. And now they're on the run, which I guess they were smart enough to run because I wasn't expecting. Even after all that, he was just like, "I'm going to kill you." But yeah, he just hates his brother and his brother's children, I guess. But yeah, I think that's it. That's really all that needs to be talked about, maybe. There was something else that happened, but we'll just call it small and insignificant. Again, I don't know. Probably wasn't. But yeah, now back to this whole women thing. DJ, would you like to explain to our lovely viewers and listeners the concept of mansplaining?
I'm trying to think of a simplified way to explain it where I'm just not being an asshole saying it. I guess would be just a man explaining anything. And that would in turn be a sexist term because it makes that opinion less valued since it's coming from a man per se.
Exactly. So there's this term that has erupted, and I'm not sure if this was generated from feminism or how it is, but it's a term that, like DJ said, that's if a man explains something and in a condescending tone of some sort that makes I guess anybody it's supposed to make someone feel like they're being talked down to, or I guess something like that. This is called mansplaining, as it, like he said, diminishes the value of what the man is explaining. Now, what's really beautiful about this, and I know I love this. What's really beautiful about this is that the person that got attacked for this, and I'm not sure how this started, and to do that digging would be great because I don't. It may have been again an oversimplification of something for the wrong reasons. I don't know why they came at this man, but his I forgot his first name. I know his last name is Pearson, but anyway, there's a man who goes by the name of Notch in the gaming community. He is the creator of Minecraft. He was one of the heads of this studio that created it, and when they sold the company, he made billions. Who knew? Now, this man's off living his life. He's no longer associated with them. I don't know if he's doing anything right now. Probably making some investments with, the money he got if, he's trying to, keep it all, but whatever. So this man is no longer attached to Minecraft except for being its creator. So I find it, even though it will impact the Minecraft audience in some way, it's not fully going to impact what Minecraft is as a property.
I don't think he should have picked Minecraft period because he just said some real shit. Excuse my language. It's just the way he started out. Oh, he called her a cunt. Oh no, he said a bad word. And so people, even the titles, and I just went through more than just one that was presented to me. I went through a couple of them where it just talks about this dude called a woman a cunt. You didn't explain what the woman did beforehand. It's not like it just fell out the sky, like it was just a random drive-by, you know, shooting. Oh no, he did absolutely nothing wrong, and then this person got tortured for it. He just woke up one day. You know what? Fuck women. He didn't wake up like that.
Right. No, yeah. So this woman on Twitter, that he did, yes, he called her a cunt. Before that, she called him a dick. It literally was her tweeting at him, "You're a dick." Him following up, tweeting at her, "You're a cunt." That is what you call a retort. That is what you call a response. That is what you call a reaction to an action. And there's quite a few tweets on Twitter of people attacking him and him saying the most real shit he can say in response to these people. And that's my point about it not affecting Minecraft, because had he still been associated with that property actively today, I don't think he could have said the things that he said. And I mean, he's well within his right to as a person. Don't get me wrong. Yes, I just think that he would have had to be more PR about it. But yeah, he riled up the hive's nest, and he was like, "Fuck it." He was like, "So y'all want to start this? Okay, whatever." Every person who tweeted at him for a while, he had a response that killed what they said, but they didn't get it. But it's just him responding to people and people responding to him responding to people. So I don't know if half these people are even really seeing the full argument. They don't even know how it started. But again, if you're going to call somebody something or say somebody's doing something, make sure that you're not somewhat contradicting yourself due to the fact that you're calling someone, you're saying somebody's doing something that's sexist while using a sexist expression to explain what he did. You can't win in that argument. You have just thereby, that's like me saying, that's like somebody coming at me and saying, "Oh, you're this, that, or the other," call me the N-word, and then I say something about them being a cracker, and it's like, well, you guys are sitting here. I mean, I don't know. I'm not even explaining that right. I don't know what I'm trying to say right now, but I don't know. It's dumb. Like, dial it back a little bit sometimes. Internet, everything's not so crucial. It ain't always that rough. It ain't gotta be so hard. Sometimes people on the internet just need to sit down and shut the up.
Yep.
And that's just
in a nutshell.
That's it in a nutshell. If you don't like it, there's this place called The Door. See you way out. Pieces, deuces. Holla at you, homie. 3-piece and a pepper. We own it, ball. Game time is elevated to magical principles, and we ain't playing around. I'm sorry, I don't know where I went there. I got that. I'm trying to check something real quick. Hold on, because I forgot to check this last night. Oh my gosh. Speaking of 3-point from the 50-yard line, guess who's up 3-1 in their series? Because
I've watched every game with such excitement.
Man, I wasn't watching. I would have been watching it if I had cable, two, if I hadn't been playing Overwatch. Oh my gosh. We actually beat them. We're up 3-1, dude. In order for us to lose right now, we have to lose 3 freaking games in a row. And we've won the last 2 in a row. So I don't.
Let me tell you, I know exactly what it was, because we beat the Warriors first. He was like, "All right, we doing pretty well." And Golden State gave us a whooping. Good old fashioned, take you behind the annex outside, whooping. Then we were kind of ahead, during the third game. Golden State start coming back. Do they give y'all good old another ass whooping again? And then Draymond Green kicked Steven Adams in the balls. That's when all the Thunder decided to go Super Saiyan. Was like, all right, screw this team. We were playing fair. If we would have lost, we would have lost. They kicked my neck in the balls. There's only one appropriate reaction from that. Beat down. Not once, but twice.
Definitely. So, my boys, the Oklahoma City Thunder, are on top right now. Them putting the nail in the Warriors' coffin means they take it. They take it this year. Who's going to stop them? Everybody knows, and if you're an East Coast basketball fan, I'm sorry. Everybody knows the West Coast is where it's at in basketball. That's just a no-brainer. If they take the West, they take it. And they're taking the West right now. They beat the Spurs to begin with, off the bat. That I'm surprised. Let me explain this, okay? I love my boys, the Thunder. I do, but they need structure. They need more structure. All right, I need Westbrook. And I know this, even though I haven't watched this season, I've heard it, and I knew it to be true from long beforehand, just watching games when I was watching them heavily like I was. Westbrook needs to stop and not run down to the other end of the court on a fast break with nobody near him but the opposing team and trying to throw up these randomly extremely rushed three-point shots that ain't going to net us nothing but a turnover. And that's where he continues to mess up. And that has hurt us in more ways than one. More times than I can even count. And he's a great player. It's not like he's a horrible player who's doing this. He's a great player who's doing this. He's got talent. He needs refinement. And I think when he finds that refinement and that patience, and personally, in my opinion, I feel like him and Durant are battling it out to be the star player of the team versus being the dynamic duo that they could be. And if they got that focus, that would make it 10 times better. Both of them.
I don't know. I actually see them do actually have that focus, and I think they got their appropriate roles where Durant is the star of the team, but it is Westbrook's team. Even though Durant's the star, Westbrook's team. It's his squad. And as long as he would take, I'd say, like 15, 20% less shots, we'd also be doing a lot better. Westbrook just cut back by 15, 20%.
Okay. Anyway, that's your random sports update for the week. DJ, let's talk flying drones.
For $450.
$450. That is less than the price of a smartphone.
Someone could spy on somebody across the street with that?
This is less than the price of your typical mid-range smartphone. Anybody who's got a smartphone could own this. You can probably control it from your smartphone, and it's made by a Chinese, I believe, or is that Chinese? Yeah, I believe a Chinese cell phone manufacturing company who, if my understanding of the pronunciation of this word is correct, is Xiaomi, because I believe the XI is Qi. So Xiaomi, I don't know. I will ignore that. But they made this, and it's a real thing. It's done. This thing is going to market, and it shoots 4K video and it flies. Now, I mean, they have the full trailer or video advertisement. It's got a nice mounted little camera on it. Oh, it's got a controller. There are images. Okay. So yeah, you can control it with this controller and use your camera attached to it to see where you're flying. That's kind of weird. Oh, and it fits in a nice little carrying bag. And the controller is like, it looks like a router with it looks like a rabbit. It looks like a controller and a router had a baby, and they made the baby look like a rabbit. But that's pretty cool. I would love to fly one of these, just because. It doesn't even have to be one of this. I would just love, like, not this particular brand. I would just love to fly a drone, period. One day, before I die. That's on my bucket list, fly a drone. Because I think that's just the most cool. Like, I don't know. Like, fantasy tech back when we were growing up, nobody ever thought, hey, I want a little remote-controlled flying thing that I can control. Like, drones weren't a big thought-of idea for, like, future tech back when we were growing up. You had, flying cars and hoverboards. I think we just wanted to fly. That was our purpose in life at that time. We wanted to fly. Anything that we could do to fly and have freedom of mobility. That's what we thought of as the future. I don't think there's no really. I mean, think about it. Was there any really major, like, future tech that we thought of back in, like, the 80s and 90s?
Well, you got the hoverboard. That's becoming real. Self-lacing shoes, that's on the way too.
Yeah, you got those.
See, I'm just waiting for my flying car.
I'm telling you, man. Telling you, let me get one. Let me get one. I just want to
they got to take step by step. They got to get this whole, non-driver car thing working first.
That's where my fear comes in. Non-piloted flying cars. That's dangerous.
Well, hey, they said the non-pilot, standard car has less risks than someone actually behind the wheel.
That's true, but they're not flying. That's what I meant, like flying cars that have no driver. I don't trust that, because that could hit anything. That would require so many sensors and so much computation. I don't think we have the tech to produce that, as well as making the car light enough to fly and durable and everything that it would need to be. So, I don't know. Sage Home Security System for $199 is a total steal. Why am I reading advertisements on a podcast? Sage Home Security is a sponsor for this episode. Get your security on. You know what? You know what's so awesome? You know what I want, DJ?
What?
You remember that video of the kid that was like, hey ladies, I took time and I've been working out and now I'm sexy and I got a chest, and if you know a girl, she's looking for a boyfriend, tell her I'm looking for a girlfriend and just tag her. And my favorite line from that entire video was no chest, no sex. He said no chest, no sex. I'm like, bro, I need that on the shirt. No chest, no sex. What? I'm making it. I'm gonna make that a shirt, and we're gonna put that on the Teespring and see what's popping.
Who would need that type of shirt? Who would need that shirt at all?
What?
I said no one needs that type of shirt.
That's an awesome shirt.
I mean, I'm not having regrets about it, but with my hoodie that says, anime in the street, hentai in the sheets.
Best people shirt ever.
It's not even the fact when I do wear it, it's the reaction I get from the people who understand it. That's what makes it worth it.
That's what would make this worth it. Everybody who's seen that video would know it. It's on a smaller scale. It's Facebook internet famous, but hey, I'm pretty sure this video's gotten around to quite a few people. I'm sure that video's gotten well over a couple million views. No way it hasn't. It's the most hilarious thing ever. But I feel like, I don't know. I think the video was a joke, and the dude was trying to make it a joke and be famous off of it, and kind of did, but kind of didn't. Like, I think we're at this point where like your level of fame is determined by whether or not you have a meme. If you become a meme, like that's hot. If not, it's like whatever. That was cool. That was the joke of the day. Let's move on. You know. But it's crazy that, I mean, we roll through stuff and content and new and funny stuff so rapidly, just because of the amount of content available, just because of things like YouTube, you know, or Facebook, being able to post videos there. Like we've gained the access to everybody's mind, so now we just get like the major dump of like anything possible. And we get some gold out of it sometimes, and sometimes we get some fool's gold, but sometimes we get some real gold, and that I believe was real gold, and nobody just latched on to it. So I'm gonna make that shirt. It's gonna be the best shirt ever. No chest, no sex. Let's go. What the hell are you playing?
Oh, nothing. For some reason, I don't know why my Google Music thing started playing Neo.
Okay. Here's a quick article. Naughty Dog might be working on a new game titled Last of Us 2, but we don't know. It's just kind of thought about. Anyway, we're not gonna talk about that now. That was cool.
I want something original.
Nice. And then this was the other cool thing I saw this week, though. I had to post about this.
Yeah, that's my pick of the week, sir.
Yeah. This is a new earpiece translates speech in real time. So think about this is very science fiction here. The idea of like, say you're talking to an alien race and you don't know what's going on. They're like, hold on, let me adjust my switchy dial here. And you start turning the dial until the frequency gets to where that language that alien is speaking to you is translated in real time, and you can have a 1v1 conversation just like you would with any normal human being, just because this thing can translate speech that quickly. The problem in this sort of idea comes with accuracy. Accuracy based off of people, different dialects and different slangs of these people from different areas that speak what is supposed to be the same language. Because I guarantee you right now, I could go to New York and have a conversation with somebody.
I was just going to say that. You go to Boston and it sounds like they're talking a complete different language, although according to, the world, we're both speaking English. But I couldn't understand half the crap they're saying.
Exactly. Same with them. They probably wouldn't be able to understand half of my slang. I could be like, man, we about to get it popping and go get these yappers. But you know what I'm saying? They don't know what I mean. You know what I mean? Like, just like that, they just throw it off. You probably don't know what I mean. I don't know if you understand anything I'm talking about right now. But the fact of the matter is, language is so different. Geographical regions of people speaking the same language don't necessarily sound the same. So while this product is great, it's only great when the languages are spoken properly. That being said, the common tongue of any language is not necessarily the proper way of speaking it. So that being said, it's still the coolest piece of technology that I have heard of, because it would be so awesome to be, you're going on a business trip to China and you're from America and you've never spoke a lick of Chinese in your life. And you're like, well, I have to have this meeting and I have to be able to, I'm going to be there for like, 2 days. I can't survive and not you know, you don't have a translator or anybody there, and like, well, I got this earpiece. I'm gonna put this in. You go there, and people can hear you. Now the problem would be they would have to have one too. So I guess it fails there. But if they can understand you, if you're somewhere where they can understand you speaking, but they can't necessarily speak it. I've heard of that. You know, there are people like that who can understand the language somewhat. They just don't necessarily speak it themselves.
No, I understand it perfectly, because when people talk, in Spanish, I'm kind of like another person from my job. I can understand what they're saying, but I can't reply to them back in the same language. It's impossible for me to do it. But I understand the concept of the conversation already.
Right. So I mean, if you get those kind of people, it works well. If you have two people with these who speak completely different languages, especially in the case of, like, say you are on a business meeting with a Chinese client, and that Chinese client has one and you have one, you don't have to hire interpreters to fly, all the way to China with you, or have them come all the way to America and have to pay for this extra seat for somebody just for this simple, interpretation or whatnot. Assuming that they don't have one there, or whatever the case may be, there's no need for a third party. You can have a one-on-one conversation, do what you need to do, and everybody understands everybody. It's a great technology. It's also one of those things. It's on that line of technology that's revolutionary yet also a crutch, because say this became a prominent thing to have, and like they become like, they manufacture to the point where they're just like distributed out like freaking free condoms at the free clinic, and it's like, hey, you're born here, have an earpiece, and then everybody can just talk and understand everybody everywhere. But I doubt that'll ever be the case. But it's one of those things. It's like, well, I can't be bothered to learn this language right now. I'm gonna take this and have this dude shove this in his ear so we can talk to each other. Again, it has to use proper dialect to work.
Yes, but if it does work, imagine the convenience. It's so mind blowing. Like when you see, like for example, Guardians of the Galaxy, like when they, looked up Star-Lord, the only enhancement he had to himself was an implant to translate the languages. He didn't need he didn't need anything else. Everybody had other bodily implants, something done to him. He just wanted an implant inside of him that immediately translate languages in real time. I don't mean like with the slide today. I mean in real fashion time. They sound like they're speaking English, but they could be speaking a completely different language for all he knows about. But all he hears is them in the same voice speaking English. Yeah. And this is just it'd be a stepping stone to going to that point. I don't want to have anything inserted inside me to do that. That's no go. But this I could work with.
So, I don't think there's. It's aiming for price at 170 to 200 pounds, I believe that is, or yes, yep. Pounds. Which I believe would translate roughly to about at 200. It would translate to roughly about, I think, what, 160 here, maybe something like that, close to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like 160, or if it's more in the 170 range, closer to 100, so or 120. It's like 120.
No, you talk about the pound compared to the U.S. dollar?
Yes.
No, 170 pounds would equal 249 U.S. dollars.
Is it really? I thought
250. No, the British pound is worth more than the U.S. dollar.
Oops. Okay, I'm confused. So it would cost more than $200. Yeah, that's a big price. That's not. I mean, it's a bit pricey, but it's an incredible piece of technology, and I understand the reason for it. So. Yeah, so we'll see what happens with this and how this technology could be implemented in other ways. Truth be told, if you can't afford this or two of these, if you would need to, Honestly, it would be weird if you walked around with like this second earpiece that you had to like sanitize before you handed it to people, just so that you could talk to them. You're like, hey, you start pointing at your ear and beating up against your head, like, put it in, and then you got to sit here and like, oh, okay, can you hear me? And they be freaked out, like, what's going on? How can I hear you? I see your mouth moving, but it's not the same. It's like,
I wonder how that works with a group of multiple people.
It would just
Speaking at the exact same time.
now. If everybody's speaking at the exact same time, I assume there's going to be some very. I don't think it would handle it. I think it really seems like something that would have to be used probably in a controlled environment. I'm assuming. The initial version only supports English, Spanish, French, and Italian. So actually, you can't go to China. I'm apologizing for that right now, but you can go to Spain. But still, yeah, I don't know. I think like if you're in a multi-room environment or multi-person environment, why would you be in a multi-room? It would have to be something where people have to speak one at a time. I think if everybody starts speaking at once, it probably wouldn't catch everything. And even if it did, it's feeding you back audio. So I'm pretty sure it'd be really, really jumbled or have like low audio quality at that point. What's cool though, I didn't think about this at first, but this really reminds me of World Lens, the camera app for your phone, where you can like hold it up to like.
Yeah, I have that actually, just for fun.
I downloaded like the free version on Android a while back. I never once used it. Just never had the opportunity. I thought honestly it's the coolest thing ever because it replaces the real world text that you're seeing and like leaves everything else there. It's not like it puts this big block over it and it's like, big white block with like text, layered on top of it. It actually it's an augmented reality app, and it just like you'll see exactly what you would see if you were looking at it, but the letters will be in whatever language you prefer. But everything else around it's the same. It's like it's a sign. You see the sign with these letters, and it looks like a freaking sign. It looks like it would look if somebody just had placed English letters on it. And that's kind of what this reminds me of, and it's intuitive like that. That being said, there are plenty different translation apps you can use. Google has one, and then there's just tons of others. And especially with Google's, I know you can have a text conversation back and forth, just typing in what you want to type, and they get it on their side in whatever language they want, and it translates back and forth, and you can seamlessly text like that. And then there's of course the ability to just say whatever you want on the phone, and it translates. Now it's a middle ground, and it makes the conversation a bit longer. But I mean, do you have $250 to spend for the convenience of being able to talk to somebody directly? I'm sorry, $500 to spend for the convenience to be able to talk to somebody directly? It's the price of a new phone. So I mean, you can either buy a phone or you can buy this. Either way it goes, it's pretty cool, but it's not for everybody. It's an awesome product. I'm glad it's not being kickstarted. I don't think it looks like they just developed it. And oh no, never mind. I'm sorry, crowdfunding campaign. Never mind. Okay, so anyway, we'll see what happens with that. All I can say is, with it being a crowdfunding campaign, beware.
Oh yeah, those things can backfire.
Huh?
I said those things can backfire. Like,
yeah.
You get there's still a chance that it will actually happen. But then you got the horror stories of someone getting that money and then doing absolutely nothing with it.
or doing absolutely everything else with it, like building a
But,
house or
but what you need to get done.
yeah, or spending it on like a bunch of coke and strippers. You know, so yeah. Let me get on that real quick. If you ever see any crowdfunding campaigns, be wary, because 9 times out of 10, especially with certain websites dedicated to it, these people don't have to actually deliver a product. And some of them don't have to deliver the product as they said, even if they do deliver it. There are people who backed Oculus Rift and still haven't gotten theirs, while there are retail copies on shelves or going to shelves pretty soon. And Oculus has stated, well, if you pre-ordered it and you haven't gotten yours and there's no confirmation or, tracking information for it, basically if yours hasn't shipped, you can go to the store and buy it and then cancel your pre-order. And it's like, what? Like, no. And I get it from a business standpoint that they need to make their money and they're trying to hit certain dates for quarters and this, that, or the other. However, it's really bad as a business to burn the people who helped build the name for your platform. I mean, granted, Oculus got funded was it $2 billion by Facebook? By Facebook, yeah. But had those people not backed it at the level where they did, Facebook probably wouldn't have backed it. It didn't have traction. Those people backing it, showing interest in it, is what made it a more sellable company or product. So just be careful. Not everybody has a good track record with their crowdfunding campaigns. You know who does though? Rooster Teeth. And if you want to get their $1 million butt card game, what is it? Kickstarter.com/$1 million butt, something like that. $1 million butt, B-U-T, not B-U-T-T. No, I'm not saying somebody has $1 million butt. It's an awesome game where the premise is you would be offered $1 million. However, you would have to say, for instance, every time you sneeze, a tiny unicorn takes a poop in your eye. I don't know, something like that. And the way the game goes, similar to a Cards of Humanity thing. Whoever comes up with the most heinous one that somebody would not take $1 million for is the winner, and that person becomes the judge for the next round. So it's a really cool idea. I can't wait to play it. I know I'm getting mine. And they hit their crowdfunding goal, which was very modest, to be honest. But they hit their crowdfunding goal in 2 minutes on this thing. And they delivered on their last and first initial Kickstarter tenfold. So they are good. If you want something to back Rooster Teeth. They don't need it. They don't need our money. They just want it. And hell, they give us great content on the internet for it. Shout out to Rooster Teeth. roosterteeth.com and youtube.com/roosterteeth. Achievement Hunter, blah, blah, blah. I'm not finna sit here and advertise for them because they're not sponsoring this podcast.
Yeah.
They don't sponsor their own podcast. So anyway, I think that was a good hour and a half show. I felt it went well. I think we did it. I think we found it. The magic sauce, the supreme jelly, the butter for the mystical toast. The mystical toast of the Third Empire. I don't know. Shout out to Blizzard. If you haven't played Overwatch, go play Overwatch. If you don't want to play Overwatch, go watch Overwatch. If you don't want to watch Overwatch, then I don't even know how you could be human. The game's awesome. It's completely fun. Check it out if you're interested. It is unfortunately not a free-to-play game. However, the positive note to that is it's a $60 game, or $40 if you're on PC. There's a $40 version. And all of the heroes that come out for this game and maps that come out later in this game will be free. There's a positive. So you pay $60 for this game once. You never have to pay another dollar unless you want to buy loot boxes, which you can get and unlock just by playing the game. There's a currency you get to be able to purchase them in game, and you also just get one every time you level up. So you don't have to purchase anything at all if you don't want to, but you can do that. If you buy with in-game currency, you actually don't even buy the boxes. You buy individual items that you could want. So you could go in and be like, hey, I want this specific item, and you pay for it with the in-game currency, not with real money. Real money only gets you a loot box with random items in it. So make your choice there. Other than that, you know where I'm finna tell you to go right now. If you are interested in tournament gaming, check out hxcgaming.com, Oklahoma's premier gaming tournament organizer. We have the lovely and magnificent Summer Madness coming up June 4th, 2016. That's a Saturday. It will be there will be $3,000 in bonus pot cash available for our winners. So if you are interested in playing fighting games and possibly winning a couple dollars on top of it, and you live in or around the Oklahoma City area, trust me, we have people who come from out of town to our tournaments, and some of them show up and show out. So I believe there is going to be some stiff competition. Definitely come check us out anytime. Facebook.com/HXCGaming, Twitter.com @HXCGaming, @HXCGaming on Instagram. You know how it goes. I will be putting up a Teespring page soon to sell t-shirts to help support the podcast so that we could do big stuff, intentions like having giveaways, something else we might work out, try to find some sponsors for stuff. Like, I don't know who's going to sponsor anything that we talk about. Yeah. Check that out. DJ, you got anything?
Nothing. I have nothing to produce at the moment. Yeah. I'm hoping something's in the works. But until then, nothing.
All right. Well, that being said, thank you everybody for joining us on the air. I was going to say HXC. And on the Arrogance Podcast, this is episode 5. This is our big 5th week anniversary episode. I don't even know what to say. I'm so thankful to be here, and I'm glad that y'all decided to watch my show, man.
Yep. Nah, I'm not even gonna bullshit you. Didn't even think it was gonna make it past episode 0. Not even gonna bullshit it.
I never thought we was gonna make it here, man.
Go back to work the next day. You know, Clifton, that was pretty much shit. You look at me, DJ, you right. That was shit. Let's break. I thought that's how it was gonna go. It turned out a different way. See, that's the good thing. When you expect the worst and you get a great result, ain't nowhere to go up. Ain't nowhere to go but up. I was already at rock bottom.
Well, that's wonderful. So anyway, we will be here live every Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. And by every Wednesday at 4:30 p.m., I mean tentatively we'll possibly be here on a Wednesday around sometime after 4:30. There's CPT involved in that, so you never know, things might happen. But all things going well and being as they should be, that's where you can catch us every week live and be a part of the show.
And the next week they know, all right, they showed up at 6 last week, then we pop up, all right, it's 10:30. We got a show going on.
Bro, if we go live at 10 o'clock, we doing it wrong. For real. Anyway, that's how it is. You know how it goes. Like I said, that's your boy DJ. I'm your boy Coffee Man. Peace out. And remember, no chest, no sex. We out.